Wait. Hit the snooze. Where's the snooze? Mom, five more minutes. Damn. I guess I gotta get up. I gotta get up because NBA is back, baby. That's right. All-Star Week is over, and we are back and better than ever. DFSArmy.com, Choppadong here. Had to have a little bit of fun with you. It's been a long time since I've talked to you, since I've seen you. It's time to assemble an NBA player pool this morning for Fanduel. We're going to dive right in. We're going to cover the and one. We're going to cover a little bit of value. We're going to cover a little bit of the who's hot and who's not. Check the boxes and rock and roll and assemble a Fanduel player pool that should be good to go for tonight. Point your research in the right direction. Hopefully we're past all trade deadline BS, and we've got some more stable rotations, some well-rested players, and a little bit of stability going forward for a few days because God knows NBA is crazy. For those of you that jumped over and tried hockey, I really, really appreciate that because honestly, hopefully you learned something a little bit different about a sport that has a lot of the same principles in it, but is a little bit calmer maybe towards lock, but a little bit more hectic maybe during game. Whatever it was that you found out, correlation and stacking is more prevalent, whatever it is, hopefully it made your game a little bit better. It alerted you to a different way to play DFS in a different sport, in a little bit different style. And by learning those nuances and learning kind of the differences but the similarities, it really and truly makes your game a better game overall for all sports. Hopefully you appreciated that. Hopefully you tried it. Hopefully you had some success. And hopefully you're a better player because of it. And you maybe even stick around and allocate a little bit of your budget towards it. Because honestly, hockey is just good fun. It's not for everybody, but it is good, just good fun. If you don't know who I am Choppadong. You can find me out on Twitter at Choppadong. Help me with the March sweeps contest that you're looking at right down here. I am trying to buy people's memberships into DFSArmy.com. All I'm trying to do is get some help in doing it. Spread the word, and I enter you into a sweepstakes where I will pick one lucky winner every single month. And the more people sign up through these links, the more I unlock. Back in November, we did 2 or 3. In December, I think we only maybe did 1 or 2. But then in January and February, it's been a little bit slow so far. We've only done 1 each month because this isn't a great time of year for DFS. So I really want to buy 2, 3, 4, 5 memberships every single month, but I need your help in doing it. So for those of you that are helping, thank you very, very much. And for those of you that maybe have never thought about it, I don't care if you're already a member or you've been a member before or what. I will buy your March if you help me retweet and get the lucky name pulled. If it's your name, we'll do it. Enter it once, enter it a jillion times. I don't care. Let's dive in and talk a little bit of Research Station NBA. You can always head down to the bottom here and click the like and subscribe and the notification bell and all that good stuff. And if you do want to become a VIP, obviously, down there in the comments section is the link, dfsarmy.com. Coupon code CHOP drops 20% off the price of your membership. And that price doesn't change no matter what our prices do, as long as you don't leave and come back. If you leave and come back, you got to pay the new price. But if you never leave, your price never changes. The 20% off never goes away. It's not 20% off just 1 month. It's every month you're a member. So really and truly, we believe we're the best dollar for dollar value out there in DFS. I already kind of messed around with the sheet a little bit because I had to knock the rust off myself. I mean, obviously I'm messing with you a little bit with the whole sleeping theme to open up, but I mean, really and truly, we're probably a little bit sleepy, maybe a little bit rusty. So let's do what we always do, sort by the and one, and let's just dive position by position by position by position. Grab a pen, grab a paper, and let's start writing these babies down. As we can see, my research station is sleepy too. This thing is just not responding. So I guess we get to wait for it to wake. Maybe I reset my alarm. There we go. All right, and one. You can see generally we're looking for numbers over 10. So we've got a fairly deep player pool tonight for the 6 games. That's a good sign. We're looking up at the top overall, all the positions. Your Hardens, Durant's, Cousins, Curry's, not a shock. But let's look at the point guard specifically. Let's take about the top 5 guys. Curry, Lillard, Paul, Fox, Kyrie, Irving. So they're going to be a little bit pricey. Sexton, maybe he has a good matchup. And then it drops off pretty quick from a 10 to a 6. And if you don't know, this is an overall matchup rating. It takes into account 20, 30, 40 different factors from, hot and, cold and away and home splits and historical and DVP and, price considerations like value. It just takes a whole smattering of things, jumbles them all together, puts different weights and measures on them, and then spits out a number which gives us an overall strength rating. And it's going to be similar but much fancier than if you watch some of my NHL videos and you notice we came up with matchup score. It's going to be very, very similar to that into maybe pointing who's in a good spot to perform tonight. Do they always perform? No. But in a lot of cases they do, and that's a very, very good sign. I think we closed out before NBA All-Star break with 2 really, really good nights where the top 3 and one guys were actually the top 3 point getters on the slate. So this theory does work. This idea, this ranking does work. But once I've cut down to these 5 guys, I'm going to look over here at the value, and I'm going to see if any of it duplicates. Maybe a Kyrie Irving. Nope, that's Darren Fox. Maybe Fox. Tyler Johnson, if he gets the start, of course. But look at that. There's not a lot of value here at the point guard spot. So we'll have to dip down into these top 3 guys, and that puts a little bit more importance on them. 4.7, maybe you consider an Eric Bledsoe. But 4.6, 4.5, 4.5, Curry, Lillard, and Paul are definitely going to be in play tonight. We don't have 5 or 6 guys over a 5.0 that really get us excited for cheaper plays. So we may just have to pay up and take what we get. Looking over here at who's hot and who's not, we see over those last 3 games versus 10 games, that Curry's running a little bit warm, Chris Paul's running a little bit hot, Darren Fox. So Darren Fox hits the value. These all 3 hit the value, I guess. But Darren Fox is also hitting a little bit of the, Chris Paul is hitting as well, but Darren Fox is hitting the value metric as well, like that 4.8x or whatever. So he would kind of be a 3-star guy tonight because he hits the and one, he hits the value, and he hits the hot list. And I guess a couple of these guys do too, like Chris Paul. That just means put more weight on their importance on the slate tonight, because these are kind of going to be core plays. 6.83 down here, who is that? Dellavedova. So again, we're going to want to make sure that these guys are starting, that they're getting the minutes that they're supposed to get. Maybe way down here to Brandon Knight. That's an interesting call. Minutes watch, Darren Fox again. Nope, Chris Paul getting minutes. And Colin Sexton getting minutes. And Dellavedova getting minutes. These are guys to watch because as their minutes grow, their opportunity to score points grows. And as long as they are somewhat decent fantasy point per minute players, which Dellavedova is not, but if they are, then their points are going to grow. Add a minute, add a point. Add a minute, add a point. Right? So we've already got a few of those guys hopefully highlighted at the point guard position. Now we'll take a look at shooting guard. Overall depth of the position. Let's take a look at that. See if this number jumped. Oh, look at that. We've got some 12s and stuff, but it's not a lot deeper because it drops below that double-digit mark pretty quick. So it's about the same. So generally speaking, when we're looking at a shallower position, we're going to want to pay up where it makes sense because that guy is just that much more valuable in those spots, in those matchups, when everybody else is in kind of a lesser matchup, if that makes sense. So the top 5 guys overall: Harden, Booker, Klay Thompson, Jordan Clarkson, Buddy Hield, maybe a CJ McCollum type. These are guys that I'm going to go into. I'd be looking, since CJ McCollum hit the value list, that's a borderline 2-star play right there. 4.9 for Buddy Hield is going to probably be a 2-star play. 5.0 and Devin Booker is probably going to be at least a 2-star play. 4.9, is that Reggie Bullock? No, that's Chris Middleton. Another 1-star type of play, and a 1-star type of play in Chris LeVert. 4.9 down here in Marcus Smart. These are the value type of plays that if you need the value in your salary cap lineup that you might reach for, that should maybe be okay for you. But I would like to double up and also have those value guys in a strong matchup. Otherwise, they're just a pure value play. Who's hot and who's not? Jordan Clarkson's in that top 5. If I scroll over a little bit here and try and get that value metric back in there, Jordan Clarkson was not on the value list. So this is just a 2-star player. Okay, we don't really have any big 3-star players that are hitting that and one rating in that top 5. We've got a couple close ones. D'Angelo Russell, but he's not bringing value tonight. He's just, you might consider him in like a GPP because if he's running hot and he's not in a stellar matchup, and he's not supposed to bring value, but yet he's been running hot lately, maybe he continues his hot streak and maybe these numbers are just lagging a little bit and you can get out ahead of the curve. That's more of a GPP narrative play. Sorry, the old phone rang there. And then we've got a couple of other guys running hot down here. We've got Reggie Bullock, and then we've got, Dion Waiters, who's been on the sheet a little bit lately. So these are all considerations for the 1-star type of stuff, unless you can see them also bringing value, which Waiters is not. Middleton is not hot. It's 4.4. Bullock is not. So I would be more inclined to play the value / matchup over the hot guys. I would save the hot guys for GPPs. Small forward. Another thing that we can watch is this cap differential column. The cap differential column will highlight where they're cheaper on DraftKings and Fanduel. Since we're looking from a Fanduel perspective, it's telling us where these guys are cheaper on Fanduel. So if we're playing both sites, we might prefer a guy where he's cheaper over on one site as opposed to the other. And in a lot of cases, DraftKings is a little bit more dynamic in their pricing with the matchups. And so if we can see that a guy is priced up on DraftKings compared to FanDuel, it might give us a little bit extra indicator that he's in a good spot tonight because FanDuel doesn't pay as much attention to that as DraftKings does. So the separation here, leaving them cheaper over on FanDuel, definitely helps in that regard as well. Kind of just little extra feathers in the cap, if you will. If you're kind of struggling between two guys, you might know, oh, he's cheaper over there. It means he was priced up on DraftKings. So maybe that breaks the tie for me. That type of scenario. Not any hardcore parameter that you say, oh my God, he's cheaper there, so I've got to play him. I've got to play him. Lock him in. No, not that serious. Kevin Durant, Giannis, LeBron, C.D. Osman, Harrison. That's an interesting one. A cheap one up there in the top matchup spot. Well, but look at how shallow it dropped off below that double digits. There's only 3 dudes technically worth considering on the and one. We can drop down into these, top 5 guys, but noticing these bottom guys are going to be a little bit weaker. That's where your Osman, Harrison Barnes, Josh Richardson's pop in. Looking for value, well, there's C.D. Osman. That stands to reason. Good matchup, cheap price. Hopefully you should bring some value for people tonight. But look, not a lot of value to be had in this position either. This is a pretty shitty. Boy, we're not coming out of the gate hot. 4.8 leads the way with Osman, making him a very strong play, actually. Kelly Oubre, is that Oubre? My lines are getting, no, it's Mikal Bridges. And then a bunch of 4.6s. So Winslow, Gerald Green, more punt plays. Oubre, it's a little bit up and down. Ingram, Richardson is probably a little bit more of a focal point of his offense. Harrison Barnes. So these would be guys that I might be considering a little bit, kind of like, 1.5 star. Not quite a full 2 star, but they're kind of close. But I do like, I guess I have to like C.D. Osman and look into him. If my coach is inside DFS Army telling me he's a crappy play, then I'll kind of cross his name off the list. But if nobody really says anything, I'll be inclined to play him. Be focused on these guys, but I'll be inclined to play them. It's going to mean you're going to have to take your value elsewhere. So where I said a shallower position, you really have to tend to pay up. This is a perfect example of it. That would mean then that we can maybe use whatever value we could find out of point guard, whatever value we could find out of shooting guard, and hopefully afford the room in our cap to pay up at small forward. Looking over quickly at who's hot and who's not, we want to see them be in the 4.8 guys. Okay, so Osman's up a little bit. But really and truly, LeBron is the one that's up most of all. 4 points for, is that Jay Richardson? Okay, so being that he was kind of on the value list, maybe he's a 2.5 star type of player. But down here's where some of the hot streaks are. These are just going to be kind of like punts. They're not exactly drop score guys. They're a little expensive for that. But they're definitely flyers, not punts, but flyers, we should say. Some of you might toss in GPP, hope he stays hot. Hope he gets some run. Hope he gets some points. Like a Joe Harris at 31 points last time out of the gate. Last three game average of 5.5 value. You could use this when you're struggling to find value here. You could look back and see if the matchup isn't terrible because he got a stronger and one. He's stronger on the and one list. You could come over here and look at his 3-game value, like a 5.4 out of Giannis, 5.2 out of LeBron, 6.4 out of CD. Maybe these guys still become very, very important on your list. This is just sort of how these columns are sort of going to start tying together. You're generally going to stick to the big 3 and 1 value, who's hot, who's not. But then you might use some side ancillary type indicators to maybe make sense of a mediocre situation, like a ceiling or a consistency, which is the next one over, or the minutes, or the 3-game value metric, or whatever. You've got to just kind of take it all in and be able to contemplate and assess from a bigger picture standpoint who the stronger plays on the slate might be. And then really and truly, you're just going to have to draw some lines in the sand and go for it. I mean, this is a game with some short-term luck in it, obviously. It's got long-term skill in it because we've got these data points to look at. But it is short-term luck in that on any given night, somebody can break an ankle or have a bad night, or somebody can get hot and really go crazy that wasn't on our list and completely break the slate. There is short-term luck, but over the long run, these numbers do help you make better decisions, which give you an edge or skill advantage over those that don't have these numbers, which is, again, why I'm telling you, you've got to get inside dfsarmy.com and get access to the coaching that gives you've got control of this tool yourself. You can filter it, you can sort it, you can play with it, you can do all sorts of things. Come up with your own game plan, your own ideas. Not just the one that I'm spoon feeding you, but at the same time, you've also got the coaches and the experts that you can banter back and forth with and say, hey, I'm thinking about this. Does that make sense? Hey, I'm thinking about that. Does this make sense? Which one makes more sense to you? Not really, should I play Giannis or James Harden tonight? Because, I mean, that's not really helping anybody get any better. They're both studs. Flip a coin, man. But if you're really debating, should I be giving more weight to value or should I be giving more weight to hot or cold or whatever, and I'm trying, does this make, this is the type of conversation we love having and we love helping guide you through. Looking again, shallow position at point forward. Boy, tonight, power forward, this is going to be a hard night. Kevin Love, Draymond Green, at least these guys are less expensive. Larry Nance, Kyle Kuzma, PJ Tucker, maybe some Fareed. Fareed's getting off the chart a little bit. I would be focused on these top 5 guys as much as possible. Looking at the value, Kevin Love, that's interesting. I'd want to do some research there, obviously. 5.4 in Josh Jackson, probably playable. 5,800, maybe playable over a Kevin Love, maybe a pivot off of Kevin Love if you feel that he's going to be a little bit chalky tonight. Down in here for some straight value plays that are in really kind of piss poor matchups. I wouldn't be super heavy on these guys unless one of my coaches sees something and really starts trumpeting it all day long. Then I'd be on it. Looking over at the hot or cold stuff, we see what? These two, Larry Nance, Kyle Kuzma. They're high on the and one list, and Kuzma's bringing more value than Larry Nance. PJ Tucker's bringing a little bit of value, but he's not running hot right now. And then some of these guys are moderately hot. These guys, especially a Kuzma type. Maybe Kuzma brings more weight because he's up there, kind of up there in the value. He won't be in the top 5, but he's kind of up there in value, and he's definitely up there in the and one, and it's a scarce position tonight. So that might place a little bit more importance on him. And then, of course, 3-game value of 5.5 at his salary is great. Round it off with center, and then we'll kick out of here, and we'll go start building lineups. Cousins, Capella, Nurkic, Thompson, Cantor. A lot of questionables. You really need to watch that. So let's go down a little bit, maybe include some Ayton and Willie Cauley-Stein. Ugh. But look at what happened to the matchups. We're really going to probably really want to pay attention to those questionable tags, but really and truly we're going to just, the healthy guys are going to be Boogie and Nurkic. And those are the guys that if these guys don't get clean bills of health, these are the guys that we're going to be kind of looking at. But if we look over at the value metrics, Cousins up top, a little bit of value here, maybe some down here with Ayton. Is that Ayton? Nope, that's Cantor. Ayton's not so strong. Whiteside, JaVale McGee. If you can get some idea of the minutes these guys are going to play, then maybe that helps some. If these minutes are wrong, a little bit underweight, then maybe you can add a few fantasy points, and that adds to the value, of course. But this is the analysis you're going to have to dig into and do. This is just the basic generic stuff. So Boogie would be a 2-star, Nurkic 1.5-ish. Scroll over a little bit more, look for who's running. Ooh, none of them are running hot. Not a fan. Come all the way down here. Will Cauley-Stein is running a little bit hot. Is that Jarrett Allen? Yeah. And JaVale McGee is running hot. So McGee at value and running a little bit hot is 2 stars on his own. Probably just the 1-star here with Willie Cauley-Stein because of the 3.6 and the value, and he's low on the value or the and one list. And these other guys, you might take Boogie being only 1 point down from where he was. 3-game value is not great on these guys. So it's interesting to see the value at 5.3 projected versus what he's been doing lately is not indicating that that's even true. We get a little better matchup, so maybe that's going to matter. But whatever it is, these are the things, the questions to ask yourself, the questions to answer throughout the day, and then maybe determine, kind of tighten the screws a little bit on how firmly you are on a play. Qualify out these lists. Maybe even check the boxes inside the domination station optimizer. Maybe put some smiley faces on some guys that you like a little bit more than others and give them a little bit more weight in the optimizer. And then run some lineups, 3, 4, 5 lineups, and take 2 or 3 of them tonight and go play some contests with them. It's a pretty safe way in basketball to really get a knowledge of the league, to get a knowledge of the game, to learn how to play the game if you enjoy it, and then also to win a little bit of money potentially. It's just kind of you don't need to spend hours and hours and hours and hours digging into this stuff unless you want to. You've got my 20 minutes here, and then you've got a little bit of work on the side that you might do another 20 minutes or so, and inside an hour. So if you work until 3 or 4 in the afternoon, you get home and you get there, with an hour to go before lock, reserve some contests, build a dummy lineup, reserve some contests that you think you're going to play, that you think you'll be able to fill. Go make a lineup. It's really, we're trying to shorten the process for you. That's what we do inside DFSArmy.com. I'm Chopadong. Obviously, coupon code CHOPKNOX 20% off. We already talked about that. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We'll be back tomorrow. Probably do DraftKings tomorrow, but we'll be back tomorrow. Welcome back from break. Hope you liked the little shtick with the little alarm bell at the beginning. But really and truly, like, subscribe, share me out on social media. Love the help. I'm going to help you with the March sweeps thing. So hopefully we make this a quid pro quo, and we take this into the next day, next week, whatever, as far as we can take it. Take care, guys. We'll talk to you very, very soon.